So we have the first path is what we call sound with form. Okay? So what would be a sound with form? That would be the repeating of some prayer. So after I do my alternate breathing, after I check my body, after I fill my body with light and have the light around me, we are now ready to go on to the next step in meditation, which is to focus on what I want to focus on. Now we could simply keep focusing on the light. That is an object of meditation. But if it doesn't satisfy us, then we can move now to focusing on some kind of name or prayer or invocation. Now, for Christians, the most basic prayer for meditation is, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. This has been given to monks for thousands of years, and it's been used by millions of people to go into a state of meditation. It's a prayer, it's a short prayer, in which one can repeat over and over again. So we've established ourselves in the light, and we begin repeating this prayer, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Now, as this prayer increases, it's totally possible that we might just focus on the essence of the prayer, which is communication with Christ. Or just might just remain as Christ, or as mercy, or just selecting one aspect of this prayer. Because the less the words, the higher the level of consciousness. The more the words, the more I'm into thoughts, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy. There's a verb, there's an object, there's a subject. It's a process. But that movement from many words to one word should never be done consciously or technically. It should just happen by itself, if it happens. So if I'm repeating the prayer, there's nothing wrong with repeating the prayer this way fully for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. But if at some point that brings me simply to focusing on the Christ as a consciousness, as an omnipresent energy within and around me, then that's perfectly okay. So one possibility is choosing some kind of prayer or some name of the divine. So if I'm a Christian, I'll choose Christ. If I'm a Hindu, I might choose Krishna or Rama or some other name. So you can see yoga has nothing to do with religion. It allows each person in his own religious context, it enables him to focus on his ideal, on his window to the divine. Okay? Now, the second possible path would be the sound without form. Now, the basic sound without form would be the Om. That is, it's a sound which is given by the yogis for thousands of years, which does not represent some form of the divine, but represents the unmanifest. So taking any syllable, such as Om, or perhaps taking some value, spiritual quality, as love, focusing on the word love, focusing on the word peace. So the whole idea here is that you become the contents of your mind. So if you're able to have in your mind the word love and the sense of love, even for 1 minute, that is a very powerful experience. It's an extremely powerful experience which can transform the nature of the mind. So the path, the non-devotional path of sound is focusing on some spiritual quality, some words such as peace or love or justice or truth, whatever I want to develop at that period of time in my life. Okay? And that will put me in touch with the divine. All spiritual qualities are manifestations of the divine. These are qualities which connect us with our divine nature. So that's two paths. Sound, the devotional path of sound, and the non-devotional path of sound. Then we have the devotional path of light, of form. So in this we would imagine Christ. We would bring to our minds an image of Christ. Or if we're a Hindu, the image of Krishna. Or if we've been initiated by some teacher, the image of that teacher. So we as Christians, if you want to follow, as most people as Christians, if you want to follow the path of devotional form, you would just bring the image of Christ and focus on this and feel a connectedness to this. Now again, if this, in concentrating on Christ, this the nature of the Christ changes, that's okay. Because as we focus on something, we energize it. So if we focus on ice and we energize it, it becomes water. And if we focus on water and we energize it, it becomes steam. It's still the same thing. So if we're focusing on Christ as a form and it becomes a light and becomes a consciousness, we haven't lost Christ. We're just experiencing the same reality from another level of consciousness. So rather than experiencing the Christ as a form, as a body, we begin to experience Him as an energy, as a consciousness, which is more omnipresent. So this would be the path, the devotional path of form, choosing a form and concentrating on that. And then we have the non-devotional path of light, which is actually what we have been doing for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and that is just by focusing on the light without bringing any form into the situation, and letting this light fill our being and surround our being, and just experience ourselves full of light and in the light. And at some point, we can allow the light which is outside of us to merge with the light which is inside of us, so that the boundaries of our body and mind dissolve. And so we can experience ourselves as energy or as light or as consciousness, and not so much as a body which has light in it or light around it. So the whole purpose of this is the dissolution of the sense of separateness, the sense of individuality. Of course, that's scary for a lot of people, because we don't know what will happen if we lose our boundaries. We feel safe in those known boundaries of our being. But at some point, our evolutionary process requires this. One should approach it very slowly. So one possibility, this fourth possibility, is doing exactly what we've been doing for the last weeks and just staying in that light and not doing anything else. So as of today, you have these 4 possibilities.